again, like I would, if you offered me a 2-0 victory, obviously at the Emirates, I would have accepted it against Real Madrid. But then I look at the tie at the Bernabeu and I think to myself, if we can see a first goal, like, and it's 2-1 and you got the refs on their side, the fans are doing what they're doing, how are we going to react? And if everybody was fit, I would still feel the same way, but I'm not going to lie. I do need, well, he's not going to be there, but Kai Havertz against Rudiger, I don't need to say anything about Bukayo Saka and the rest of them. And even Gabriel Jesus, like to go there with potentially Moreno, a young Wanyeri and Lewis Skelly, who are talented but very young, midfield. And obviously, this is all assuming that the players that we know at this moment in time that are fit on the 13th of March, they might get injured. Would you rush Saka back?
No. Let him.
What if he's passed off fit? You wouldn't rush him back?
He has to be past fit and like actually ready. People have to remember too, like he's been out for long enough, so he's going to need some time to get up to full speed. So I'm just not quite sure if I would risk him for next season for a tie that is very unlikely that we go through.
Seems like your dog disagrees, man, saying bring Saka back still.
They're just, you guys are really getting on my nerves today. So it's been from minute one, they've been out of control, but yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm not quite sure that I would rush him back, but maybe the club feel like he'll be fine and I'm sure he'll want to play. And one thing I know for sure is if I saw him out there against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, I would feel like we have a much, much better chance. So I will say that for sure.
If we played them right now, like today, what's your starting 11?
All the same, like the back line, our best back line, which includes Miles Lewis-Skelly. Sorry, Kala, you need to sit out. Rice, Partey, Odegaard, and
the prodigal son returns home to the Bernabeu and Odegaard as well.
The less we say about that, the better. That becomes
who knows? Zinchenko might take his place. He actually shoots like you saw yesterday.
Yeah, well, I mean, Odegaard did get man of the match the last round against PSV too, so it's an everybody eats, and Zinchenko ate. So yeah, I think just go with that. And then the front line is just where you just have to go with what you got. I think you got to go with
your front three. We want specifics, we want names.
Moreno, Wanyeri, and Trossard.
You're gonna go with Moreno up front against Madrid. Big Real Madrid.
What other option do we have?
Martinelli through the middle. Fuck it.
It's just that's a figment of our imagination. It's not like a real option.
I asked you, but that's what we know. We're not managers, but I asked for your 11. You're the manager. Jess is the first woman to manage Arsenal. What's your
I probably still wouldn't do it. I know that once you're not playing well enough, then it's like, well, why can't we just play him somewhere else?
But what's Marino bringing to the table that Martinelli couldn't? And I'm not here, I'm a big fan of Martinelli, but I'm not here to gas him up and sing his praises. I'm genuinely like, why would you go with Mikel Merino?
Well, we don't technically really play a game that's particularly direct. We don't play the ball in behind, and we definitely don't play the ball in behind for the striker. And so the way that we're set up is everything is in front of the back line. And so Martinelli is not going to help us be like an additional midfielder, get the ball and help us shovel the ball around into our wingers. He's not going to be able to do that. In order for Martinelli to play center forward and to be successful for Arsenal, one, you need to feed him. We don't feed our striker. That's not how we play. And also, we just don't play in behind. And if Martinelli is not running in behind with little to think about, he's not going to. Marino, 9 times out of 10, when he receives the ball at center forward, is in a crowd scene. Martinelli in a crowd scene is a no-go for me. So for me, it's just go with the Marino. Can you guys stop?
You don't think with Marino, like, probably not likely, and you're all right, it doesn't matter who plays up front, we're going to do that indirect false 9 thing, but you don't think with their centre halves, Marino's likely to drop into midfield? You spoke about a high line. You don't think they're going to come further forward? At least, this is why I want Havertz. At least with the theory of Martinelli, it keeps Rudiger and Cole honest because they don't want to get in a foot race.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. Maybe it's because I just don't think Martinelli is playing well enough to just screw up all the plans and go with this figment of. But yeah, 5 years ago,
Marino
he was great. It was years ago. Just go
So
with
Marino
Marino.
is.
Yeah, just go with Marino. Fuck it. And then go with the guys that you got.
No, but Marino's okay. I agree with you, but being devil's advocate, Marino is playing that well that it's not a genuine option to play Martinelli or even Trossard through the middle ahead of Mikel Marino.
Marino at least gives you height. He can at least go for the ball. Like Rudiger is going to eat them up anyway, So I don't know. I get what you're trying to do, but let's just be real. There's no evidence around Martinelli being this great striker for us at the Bernabeu.
So how's the evidence of Mikel Marino being devil's advocate, being this great striker at the Bernabeu?
Well, because we know what we're going to get. The thing is with Arsenal, it's always about what we think could happen if we use our imagination and squint real hard and go back in time and all this kind of stuff. The reality is, at least you know what you're going to get with Marino. You kind of don't
but
have.
If we had this conversation in December, I don't think you're saying Marino up front.
We have new evidence again. What we know Martinelli is having a really bad season again, and there's no reason to. At least Marino has scored a goal at center forward recently for Arsenal. So.
No, for what it's worth, I agree with you. I think generally, I do think Martinelli in his life could play up front. I think at this moment, I think in general he's not ready to play up front. I don't think he doesn't know when to play short. He's back to goal, all that kind of stuff. But in light of where we face ourselves at this moment in time, I don't need to tell you, like we're genuinely Mikel Marino, Martinelli, even Calafiori. These are genuine options up front because of where we're at, right? I am not against it. Like I just need a bit of pace, whether it's Martinelli through the middle, Ethan on the right, assuming Saka's not there, or even Trossard. The only one that can't be involved is Sterling. I really want to see something different. Honestly, I'd love to see a back three. I did ask you, it's not going to happen. I did ask you about your strongest 11. I'll go with mine today, in which it'll be fun to whenever the game is. Hopefully, it falls on like just before when we're about to do a show, so we could do something around that. But at this moment in time, I agree with you. I mean, it's not even that I agree with you. It's like anyone that cares about Arsenal is going to have Raya in goal. Like Raya in goal, Saliba, Gabriel. I must admit, big up Lewis Skelly, but if you put a gun to my head, Timber, you're going to have to do me a favor at left back, Benjamin White, you're going to have to come in. Odegaard, obviously Odegaard, Partey, and I'm forgetting his name now. Declan Rice.
Why would you do that? Why would you put Ben on the right and Timber on the left when you know that Ben White is a worse defender significantly than Timber, 1v1, and so you're going to put Ben White against Vinny Jr.? That's what you're going to do?
Lewis Skelly, Ben White are all going to struggle. The only one I have sense in, and he's probably going to, there's nothing wrong with someone taking you on, it's probably Timber, right? If Tomiyasu was fit, he'd go left back for me, just because I need that one game.
Why are you moving Timber to the left when Vinny Jr.
Because he can go 1v1 than Lewis Skelly and Calafiori, because he can invert. I don't really want to kill him on the right, but I believe in his defensive capabilities, and he's sensible enough to do it.
Who is he stopping? Because again,
who is anybody stopping? Which one of our fullbacks can you say is keeping anyone quiet?
Want Timber.
Lewis Skelly's going to get ripped. Calafiori's going to get ripped. White's going to get ripped. Timber's going to get ripped. I got the most faith in Timber.
Because I don't understand why you're moving Timber to the other side when we know Vinny Jr. is going to be on the side that.
Because I want my two strongest fullbacks.
That doesn't make sense. Timber
how doesn't it make sense?
Is the only thing that makes
sense. Are we forgetting how many big games Timber's played left back? How does that make sense? Vinny Jr. is not the only one.
Because you're just moving Timber for the sake of it.
I'm not moving Timber for the sake of it. I know Lewis Skelly's a young player and he's going to switch off like I saw against
Vinny Jr. unprovoked makes no sense. Just leave Timber where he is and just leave Miles Lewis Skelly on the other side.
Lewis Skelly has my faith, but I'm putting Timber left back. I'm sorry, I'm putting Timber left back. I want you on the left hand side. That brings Benjamin White in. As I said, you put a gun to my head. You're the two strongest
Ben White with
defenders.
No fitness and historically gets cooked by any decent winger. And you'd rather move Timber, the only person that can shut down Vinny Jr. or at least give him a.
How do you know if I do that? How do you know he's going to keep Timber quiet? I mean, Timber's going to keep him quiet. How do you know that?
He is our best option to do it.
I didn't disagree. In fact, I want my two strongest fullbacks. There's no evidence Lewis Skelly's keeping anyone quiet or Calafiori. I think we both agree Calafiori's
in terms of matchups, you ask anybody, you're gonna say who's the one person that's gonna hurt you 1v1 and on the wing.
Have you seen their front three? It doesn't matter. You're playing with Rigo and Mbappe and Vinicius. You know that, right?
It does
and
matter.
you've got Vasquez or Valverde inverting, and you've
It
got the runs
matters.
of Bellingham.
It matters. It matters. It
We
matters.
know what's
It
going to
matters.
happen. White's going to become a back three. I hear what
It
you're
matters.
saying about the fitness, bearing in mind he played yesterday, but I actually would go with Timber. I would go with Timber at left back. White has my full strength. Both of them are my two strongest options. I've got all the faith in the world in Lewis Skelly. More than forget his ability is his temperament. Was that phone?
Yeah, sorry.
That scared me. Yeah, way before anything, when it comes to anything, I think Lewis Skelly's got one of the best mentalities in this squad. I don't think he will be quote unquote overruled with the burnabout, even though I think there's a degree of that for our whole squad, because the vast majority, I know there's bare players that are experienced in Europe, but the vast majority of them are virgins in it. They're learning on the job. They got 1 year's experience against Bayern. I'm just going with Timber. I think Timber can show me enough on the left. I don't really want to kill the right hand side that Timber provides, but I have to go with White. You know what? Do you want to bet? Do you want to bet me that we see Timber left back, Benjamin White? I'm so confident we're going to see that.
You're guessing what Arteta's going to do.
I'm not guessing. I purely said off my own back. I just think that's what he's going to go with.
You are. We've switched from what you want to do to
that is what I want to do. But now I'm saying, do you want to bet what he goes to?
Hold on. Even if Arteta does that, that doesn't mean that it's right. So
I didn't say it's right, because he could play. He could do what you're doing, saying, and it could be wrong. He could do what I'm doing, and it could say it be wrong. That's my whole point. We're fucked either way. I'm just going with my two strongest players.
But you saying that now, we're fucked either way. But then you were on me about Marino versus.
I'm not on you.
Something different.
I'm not on you.
No, we're not.
I'm not on you. It's fucked either way. I'm just saying, do you want to bet me that we see that?
Not really, because I don't.
Put your money where your mouth is, just.
Because what does it matter?
Hey, Beckham, can you hear me? Beckham.
What does it matter? What does it matter if Mikhail chooses that?
I just want to know. Like, I just want to bet you're going to see that.
I don't understand. Well, I don't understand the thought process at all of moving your best 1v1 defender away from the best 1v1 dribbler
to get my other guy in. To get my other guy in. And you're talking a lot about Vidi Jr. Did you see him yesterday?
To get my other guy
the play was coming down the right, Atletico's left.
To get your other guy in, who, again, we're not just talking about Ben White, the player that we love. We're talking about historically.
I don't care about loving Ben White. I want my two experienced and strongest fullbacks in the team.
Well, with good 1v1 dribbling wingers. That's what I'm saying. And he also is not up to fitness. So, hey.
We got a month.
You want to do that?
We got a month.
This is somebody that always
we got a month into that game.
Always gets a yellow card against Rashford. Ben
White, all these guys are going to get booked
at the Bernabeu. Gets that.
All of these dons are going to get booked. Timber is very lucky he didn't get booked yesterday, or he wouldn't even be playing. All of them are going to get booked. All of them are going to be ripped. I'm just saying, I'm going with the two players that I would trust the most within that context, with the greatest of respect to Lewis Skelly, because equally, I would not care if it's Lewis Skelly and Timber in it. Like, that is a good option. I think the one thing me and you agree with is that, yeah, we're definitely not trying to see Zinchenko left back, and we're definitely not trying to see Calafiori. I'm just going with them. If Tomiyasu was fit, which he's not, I'm going Timber at right back. Tommy's going to the left. I need somebody to do a job there. If you watch the Athletic Madrid derby yesterday, Vinny was quiet. It's actually and a big reason as to why I want Ben White in that squad. What's the one link-up play from from Real Madrid that is actually the most harmful? That Atletico actually did well, and the one time they didn't, it led to a penalty. What's the one link-up? It's Bellingham and Mbappe. What side did they start that move yesterday? Or what side do you see in La Liga? I'm happy both of us are not Mikel Arteta, because you imagine this, because they're probably having the same conversations. Moving away from that, though, should we be a bit more optimistic, Jess?
All I'm going to say, that first time that Ben White gets cooked, I'm not trying to hear it.
Bro, you can get cooked. Everyone's going to get cooked. It's Real Madrid. Win the war. Don't lose the battle. Man, get past you. They get past you. They got Vinicius, Mbappe, Brahim Diaz. The list goes on. And to be fair, whether it's what you said in Lewis Skelly and Timber, or what I said, or I'm not, again, for what it's worth, I'm actually with you with the Lewis Skelly and Timber thing. You're going to see subs. They're going to bring on Diaz. These men are going to get ripped. We have to lose the battles, just win the war. And I think, do you know what the maddest thing is? Me and you said our defense is probably where we're the strongest, and this is where we've made the debate, yeah. But it's our attack that's going to let us down. But me and you be a bit more optimistic? Looking on screen, 10 games, 7 wins, 1 defeat, 25 goals scored, 6 conceded in the champs. Should we be a bit more optimistic? Is this a welcome distraction from the failure of the Prem?
No, not really. It's it's the same thing that it always is. We're always looking at runs and these weird stats that they bring up, but we we watched the game against Porto both legs. We watched both legs against Bayern. We know what we're like. We even Sporting in the Europa League, Olympiacos. This is a historical problem with Mikel Arteta's teams that when they get in the games that actually matter outside of like the group stages and all that kind of stuff, they literally just don't have anything. They don't have it, you know? So from my perspective, none of this really means anything. We're coming up against the best team in the world. And if we don't perform and we play scared, we're going to get cooked. There's just no way.
Do you know what? Yeah, well, actually, big up Jamaica Gouda. Yeah, me and you have actually done Kieran Tierney a disservice. Whether we believe Mikel Arteta is going to play him or not, you know, you was fighting the case of Lewis Kelly left back. I was fighting the case of Timber. What about Tierney? Tierney and Timber?
Well,
forget the inverted crap for a game.
I'm down for keeping Timber on Vinny Jr.'s side. So whatever.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about
whatever
Tierney,
that is,
like,
then that's
Tierney an
fine.
option on the left.
I mean, he'd probably. I don't know if he's at this stage. You could probably make an argument that he's a better defender than Calafiori 1v1. So if that means anything to you, I mean, he puts in good crosses and you don't have to do the inversion. Will we even get an opportunity to take advantage of inversion? Is that even something that we want to do? I still think I'm going Miles Lewis Skelly. If you're good enough, you're old enough. If you're good enough, you're old enough.
Do you know what the funny thing is?
What?
We both, you know what? I think Partey's going to play right back. I think Arteta's going to try. He has to try something, to be fair, but I think he's going to do something a bit mad. What else have I got? I mean, we did create history, you know. We did have a teenage Cesc Fabregas, RIP Reyes, Belarus's very own Haleb, and the GOAT TT. Maybe we could do it. Maybe history's there to be made, man. History's there to be made. What do you make of the route to the final, anyways? Because surely, if we beat Real Madrid, we can start. Maybe not dream, but it becomes a bit feasible.
I mean, you got to take it one game at a time, right? I mean, you're
normally a lot more optimistic than me, Jess. Damn.
What? You just have to take it one game at a time. It's like you're looking too far ahead. Even if you were to get past Real Madrid, I don't think I would feel like the last team I guess you want to go up against in the semifinal is Villa. You just don't want to go up against a team with some sort of narrative against you, a team that traditionally beats you.
Emre versus Arteta.
Yeah, that's just not something that I would want. In fact, when you go into Champions League, you just don't want to have to play against people in your league. The whole point of doing, a European competition is play against other fucking teams. So I guess if we were to get past them, I'd love to go back up against PSG. They're much different than they were when we played them. This is not the same team, so it wouldn't be the same matchup. But again, you want to go up against teams that back themselves to attack you so that you don't have to do the sit in and do the mid block. And they would back themselves a little bit. They didn't sit in against Liverpool. They did say that they thought that we were a better team than Liverpool. So take that into consideration. But yeah, I would think going up against PSG would be great. I would hate to go up against Emery in the semifinal. It just feels like a certain narrativing. And then once you get beyond that, I'd take anybody on that other side except for Bayern, I think. I think Bayern, just for some reason, it's just like our mentality is just so shit against them.
So you want to buck Barcelona with Yalmao and inform Rafinha and the pressing of Hansi Flick?
I'd rather that than Bayern.
Nah, I disagree, man. I'm on Bayern. I know what you're saying, and I agree. There's a bit of a mental block, but I think of the teams on this side, respectfully to Dortmund, big them up. I hope Arsenal get to the final when we play Dortmund, and that would be great. I think Barcelona, I can't say they're dark horses, but I do think when, not necessarily you or myself, but when there's this talk around who's winning champs, Real Madrid are going to get their flowers. People are starting to give Enrique a bit of credit because we're seeing what they're on. I think people are downplaying Barcelona, Rafinha's in form, Yamal's in form. They press relentlessly. It's like they take the tiki-taka with the modern day high pressing. I don't want to play Barca. Inter, I don't think we score. I think we could compete, but like we saw in the league stage, I think we struggle. I fancy we're still gonna get bought by Bayern, but I find, out of respectfully to Dortmund, out of the Madrids, the PSGs, the Inters, the Bayerns, I fancy Vincent Kompany's men,
Yeah.
because I could never fancy man.
First, people, there's somebody in the comments saying, I'm not watching Barcelona this season. It's my job to watch Barcelona. It's my job to watch La Liga. I know how they're
Don't
playing.
get rattled by the comments, man.
All I'm saying is that I'm not thinking about it. It's the same reason why I picked Real Madrid over Atleti. It's not that I'm like unaware that one team is better than the other. I'm thinking about the matchup. I don't like what our mentality looks like against a Bayern side. There's something about that team. We played against one of the worst versions last season, and we could not even muster anything.
Maybe that's a learning curve for us,
Allianz Arena. So that's all I'm saying. I don't want Bayern. There's too much history. There's too much narrative. There's too much that. Barcelona are the better side, guys. I'm not unaware that Barcelona are playing good. So that's just, I think about the matchup and the narrative. Because ultimately, if you look at the other side and you ask yourself, would you rather play PSG or Aston Villa? You'd rather play Aston Villa. But I also said no. Because why? The narrative, the fact that we don't match up well against them. So it's not about not understanding who's better than who. Like, the narrative matters to me.
Smash the like button, folks. Look at the content we're providing you lot with. I don't know, man. If I had to rank them, I mean, nobody wants to play Real Madrid, but it is what it is. After Real Madrid, I'd say Barcelona for me. It's a toss-up between Paris Saint-Germain and Inter. We did beat PSG. We got done dirty by the penalty. I'd rather play Paris Saint-Germain. I know they're a different team. I'd rather play them because it feels like they Arteta and Enrico are a bit similar still.
Yeah. I mean,
Inter, we can't break down low blocks. Forget it.
Yeah, if you don't want to play against Inter, too much narrative around Bayern. You know, Barca would be the hardest team to play out of the teams left over outside of
the like button. You lot taking the piss, but go on, Jess.
But at the very least, what I don't like coming up, this team is not good against teams that are well set up defensively. Barca play one of the highest line in Europe, the highest line. So we could not have possession, let them possess, and we're so much better when we don't have the ball.
With Marino up front, on the counter.
That's all I'm thinking. Then you can do your Martinelli, whatever you want to do with that, you know.